And friends, right here at 88.1 WPEB Philadelphia. As you know, that was Stevie Wonder, and that was Elton John with Dionne Warwick, also part of Whitney Houston's, the late Whitney Houston. They are actually cousins. It is now 8:20. We're back here live in studio with Jason Ferguson giving us some updates on how to eat healthier and to cut back on child obesity. And before we get back to Jason, it's funny how people always want to blame the fast food places, but then on the other hand, the same people that are saying, that are blaming the fast food places, they're the ones that are in there 2-3 times a day ordering a large Coke and a Big Mac and give me 2 pounds of fries. I just the thought of all that grease is making my stomach turn.
Same here.
I could actually go for more like a watermelon and some cantaloupe and, you know, all the good stuff that we should be eating. But the listener lines are still open, 215-472-0882, 215-472-0882. And we're again back here live. Jason Ferguson's in the studio with us. Now, what are the things that a child can do to help fight obesity on a daily and weekly basis?
On a daily and weekly basis?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the things I touched on earlier, and which I know can be an adjustment for some people, is consuming more water. I can't stress it enough. It's just so important. If you think about it, you know, what is our body made of? What does it consist of?
Water.
Exactly. So that's one of the important things that you need to put back into your system. Now, one of the things that a child can do on a daily basis, weekly basis, whatever the case may be, is to start at somewhere.
Right.
For example, of course, gonna watch TV, whatever the case may be, get up during the commercials. I mean, I would love for you to get up during the program, just turn the TV off.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even own the TV, and don't shoot me. It's too much work to do. But just get up during the commercials. That's one of the first things you can do. Get up, walk around, do some squats, whatever the case may be. Do some push-ups. Do anything that you feel you can do. But one disclaimer I will say, check with your doctor before you do any type of exercise.
Right.
I wanted to say that first. But be active in some respect. It's just important. And from there, you start feeling the energy flow. You start feeling better. You'll be able to think better.
Right.
So you'll actually want to do more. And you may even turn that TV off and say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to do a program that Jason made for me and just have at it and continue to work out.
Now, what is your input on the flavored waters, such as Propel, the regular waters that you see that have cherry, and a lot of people say that, you know, oh, well, if you don't like regular water, you could get the flavored water, but to me, I would think that would still have not as much sugar as a can of soda, but still have sugar in it because of the sweeteners that they put in it for the flavoring.
That is true. I can agree with that to some extent, but I will say I truthfully have not done a lot of research on the flavored waters. My thinking is, if you're gonna get flavored water, if you need something with flavor in it to your water, try lemon. Try to eat it with fruit, something to that effect. You don't necessarily have to have something flavored all the time.
Right.
You see, in my opinion, one of the things that the youth can learn, educators can teach, or whatever the case may be, is don't start those habits.
Right.
That's one of the main things. But again, I know in this time and age, it's all about prevention and going to aftercare. We're trying to fix things all the time.
Right.
But I'm not necessarily an advocate of the flavored waters. But again, I haven't done the research on it, so I'll just stay away from that for a little while.
Now, another question which we were talking about just a few minutes ago. Who is this Jim Heat. If you can fill in our listeners on exactly who he is.
Jim Heat. Jim Heat is a good friend of mine. I like Jim Heat. He actually is a hero for health and wellness. He was created from the wacky mind of Jason Ferguson because I just felt that there was a need for a hero for the youth out here to
Right.
be about health and wellness, about fitness. And to my knowledge, there was nothing out there at that time. So Jim Heat and his, I guess his known name is Frank James. And there's a play of words on that. And go into that if you go on the website. But Frank James is a typical guy, grew up in Philadelphia, went to high school here, had great parents, but he had his downfalls medically. So he wasn't able to do everything as much as someone else. He still worked out as much as he could,
Right.
but he just wasn't able to push himself to, I guess, to the levels that he wanted to.
Right.
And Frank actually enlisted in the Marines eventually over time. He was able to pass the prerequisites for going into the Marines, and that's kind of where his story started. And I'll refer to my website, jimheat-hero.com, if you want further details.
Okay, and we do have a couple here that I want to read off to our listeners at Facebook tag. It's Facebook/Jim Heat Comics. Comics. Correction on that. Heat Comics. For Amazon, the title is Adventures of Jim Heat. For email, it's jason@jimheat/hero.com. And if you want the website, it's www.jimheat/hero.com. We do want to get to another question. How do you write for Jim Heat? What is your involvement with him?
No problem. I've actually been, I would say, as long as I've loved fitness, I would say at the same time I've loved comics just as much. And I guess to the testament of my mom, I always had a creative mind, which probably got me in trouble as a kid at times. I know you listen, Mom. Sorry. But I've always loved to write. So when I thought about the concept of Jim Heat being a hero for health and wellness, I already had a bunch of ideas in my head. And I just love what I do. So with the creativity that I learned early on, I just kind of patch it through the comments right now that I write. And I would say at this moment, probably have 10 or 12 issues out there that's not even published. It's just things are in the waiting.
Okay, now, why Jim Heat? Why do you want our listeners to know about him? What is it about him that you want them to know?
Okay. I want the listeners to understand that Jim Heat can be used as a tool to help educate the youth. And in my opinion, Jim Heat is someone that is easily relatable to. Is a common person that you can see on the street in Philadelphia, walking down the street. Say, hey Frank, okay, and it's actually Jim Heat. And his powers really do not come out until he has to use them. But his powers actually stem from him working out, exercising, eating right.
Right.
To give an example of that, if he was actually able to take a vitamin, okay, let's take vitamin C,
Right.
which is of course supposed to enhance your eyesight and things like that, among other things. Well, if Jim was actually to take it, he would actually be able to see through everything. He would have vision comparable to other characters already out there. So again, his powers come from him exercising and just using regular elements that are out there. Vegetables, water. It enhances his strength and his other abilities.
So it gives them like the strength to get the energy to want to get out and work out and do different things.
Yes.
To keep active, basically.
Exactly. And also to, don't want to use the word fight, but it's a term. To fight villains that are against Gym Heat and against improving your health and wellness. And you can see that actually in the first issue of Gym Heat, where he actually encounters a villain that's going to be interesting. And he's totally against helping out healthy Americans.
Okay, and again, the listener lines are still open if you want to call and ask Jason anything. If you have a child, maybe you work in the school district, you know, maybe you have a question just in general that you want to ask him, feel free. He's going to be here probably for another 30 minutes or so. Give us a call, 215-472-0882, 215-472-0882. Right now, let's get to the WPEB PSA of the hour. Do you work in such places as a school or a daycare, or even have children of your own? Did it ever run through your mind what you would do in case of an emergency? If so, look no further. The American Red Cross offers a wide variety of classes that needs of the general public workplaces, schools, or organizations, including first aid, CPR, and AED training. For more information on this, you can contact your local American Red Cross at 215-299-4000, or you can visit their location in Philadelphia, 2221 Chestnut Street, Philadelphia, PA, or redcross.org. We're going to talk more with Jason Ferguson in the studio in just a couple minutes, right here at Philadelphia's 88.1 WPEB. Right now,